Good afternoon, everybody. It is Tuesday. Welcome aboard. This is Heading Back to the Window with Scott and Scott. I am Scott Steen, lead handicapper at winnersandwhiners.com.
I'm your co-host, Scott Rochelle, senior handicapper over winnersandwhiners.com.
And together, we make up the show that does it every single day, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, as we do our level best to give you the information and the tools you need to help you head back to the window to cash those winning tickets. And, just laugh in the face of all the ticket writers who said you were silly for taking a 19-team parlay. So you hit it. So there you go. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Happy day one of the post-college football world. I miss it already, Scott. How about you?
I don't know what I'm going to do.
I understand. James S. checking in early, making sure he gets his request in early to take a look at the Belmont-Austin P game. T-Train in the house, freezing his cojones off up there in the Northeast. Stay warm, brother. And TL is hanging out with us today. What up, TL? As far as everybody else, I want to thank everybody once again that stopped by last night to check out our live broadcast of the national championship game. Scott, we were just going to check in for 10, 15 minutes and then do a halftime show and call it good. We ended up spending 4 hours doing the show. Had a good time. Had everybody really engaged. And we had a few requests to do it again with some other events. I think that's probably going to happen. We'll take a look at some of these NFL games. Maybe do the Monday night game this week, something like that. Let's see. How about the end? 29 points in the last quarter. Yeah. Nice easy under. Ended up being a little bit of a sweat there, man. T-Train throwing out his NCAA pick, USC -6 over Stanford's. JC Stone, what did I say, Stanford's? Like there's more than one.
I remember we talked about that game on the actual live stream. Somebody brought that up. I forgot what the line was for USC, but I want to say the line was closer to 4.5. Did the line go up by 1.5 points?
Must have. Yeah,
I think it did.
USC money coming in there. Ninja's in the house. Brandon Kubas is in the house. I'd love to see a live UFC show. You can see Scott impart his wisdom and me butcher names. It's a good
It'd be a hell of an idea. I just go rogue and try to talk about some UFC, but maybe. We'll see what happens.
There you go. Felt pretty good last night in the fourth quarter, getting 3 points and Bama leading 19-13. Defense fell apart. How much do you think Bama missing their wide receivers in the second half played a part? A ton.
Yeah.
A ton. I think it made a hell of a difference when you've got arguably the best quarterback in the nation missing his top two targets. No question that made a difference. And what ended up happening is that Bama defense just ended up spending too much time on the field and they got gassed. So yeah, there you go. Any surprises last night, Scott?
Truth is, no.
JC Stone said I was breaking into a sweat with that under last night. Oh, I was very pessimistic. Yeah.
Then Georgia got about 3 sacks in the final 4 plays, and you were pretty much good to go at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But was I really surprised? No, because the truth is, if Williams stays healthy, I think Bama wins the game. I think that as soon as he got injured, Bama's passing attack completely fell apart. And in the live show, you're looking up who the actual 3rd and 4th string receivers are, because you don't know. You're used to seeing Mechie and Williams and a little bit of Bolden in there with some Billingsley at tight end. So you're looking over at the depth chart. I'm looking up Hall, number 84, who had the drop in the red zone in the either 3rd or 4th quarter. But you're looking up true freshmen who are randomly playing in the title game that you haven't seen play all year besides maybe the 4th quarter against New Mexico State or some teams that don't really matter. So I'm not exactly surprised that Bama's offense completely fell apart once the best receiver left on the team got injured and didn't return in the second half.
Yep. T-Train wanted to know if I did a video yesterday. I did not. My voice after 4 hours, just coming back from this respiratory thing, it was shot. So in order to save my voice for the show today, I did not do a video last night. I didn't do a premium or I didn't do a regular video. I did do premium picks, just sent them out. I didn't do a video. So let's do some housekeeping here, and then we'll get rolling on some results from yesterday.
I'm going to ask you, did anything surprise you? Because I know you ended up flipping to the under in Georgia.
It did.
But we both had the right side and the right total. So
Yep.
Did anything really surprise us?
No, I was surprised it took Georgia that long to get going. I thought they'd get off to a little better start. Critical drop by Bama's backup receivers, no
That's
question.
what I was saying, though. But what do you expect? Williams got injured, and you could tell
I expect
immediately.
5-star recruits to catch the fucking football when they're
That's
thrown.
fair, but
That's what
I'm not exactly surprised that they looked worse than a projected top 5-10 pick in the draft.
No, agreed. Euler Foster says Memphis will keep it close, but Golden State will pull away. We'll see. Grizzlies red hot.
Clay, but no Draymond Green. So I don't know how much value you put into Draymond defensively, but Memphis is a very solid team.
Who's gonna guard Ja?
It's a good question because I don't know if Clay's ready for something like that, but Clay played about 20 minutes in his first game. He looked fine. He had the very nice dunk. Of course, he looked a little bit rusty from the outside because that's kind of expected, but I thought he looked fine. I'm still expecting maybe a little bit of an uptick in minutes. Clay might play 23 minutes instead of 20, but I'm not expecting him to play more than that. Golden State defensively was great against Cleveland, but Memphis offensively is a different animal.
Yep. T-Train says he liked Georgia last night, but he took the under only because he didn't want to get burned by Saban twice in a month. Yeah,
he still won, so
worked out fine. Yeah, I did something I almost never do. I did a complete 180 from the video that we did on. Was it Friday? We did that video Friday or Saturday?
We did it Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, we did NFL on Friday. And I did 180 degree. I watched the lines and the reaction of the money that came in, and is equally important. I saw Alabama missing their two best cornerbacks, and trouble there on the right side of the offensive line. And I did a 180 when I saw where the money was coming in. I want to know as far as that Memphis game, who's going to guard Ja? That's my question.
Yeah.
By the way, is Ja named after the Rastafarian god Ja?
I believe it's named after Jonathan. No, I have no idea where his name comes from.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what you're talking about. I don't know. I don't know if it's short for anything. I don't know if it's a nickname. I really don't know.
All right. Well, there you go. Yeah, somebody in our research department could get right on that. We'd appreciate it.
I didn't even know we had a research department, so I'll keep that in mind. T-Train asking about my thoughts on USC. On the overnight, I said I liked USC minus 4.5 on the live stream. At 6.5, I don't mind it. I do think it's a little, I'd say, risky when you lose 2 points of value on a spread like that. But I equated it to the California game. I feel like it's a situation where you have one team at home that has been pretty good this season, and you think USC might struggle on the road, and USC smacked the hell out of Cal. So I'm kind of expecting a similar script. But USC at this point, I think if you got in, you're fine. But if you want to get in now at 6.5 or so, I think you missed the boat.
It's like you're ready to jump into the pool, and then they drain about 6 feet from your 10 feet. And you're like, well, I don't know about that.
Well, some people don't really take that into account when it comes to the value you lose if you're late to a line move, because
Absolutely.
You can still like USC, but there's a huge difference between being a 4.5 point favorite and a 6.5 point favorite when they're fouling down 4 with about 20 seconds to go.
That's a bad zone. That's a huge difference in college basketball, right?
It is.
4.5 to 6.5 is huge. Yeah, we'll do all this, but I want to Scott's computer brain is your research department. That's right.
Best I can do.
Ja is God in Rastafari. Right. That's no, not a different God. Okay. Well, you're right. Okay. I did say that wrong, but yes, Ja is the representative of Christ, or the Lion of Judah is actually what it's short for. In which the long line of Ethiopian rulers, of which I think Haile Selassie was the last one. So, man, I'm
learning a lot of history right now.
There's a rabbit hole that we didn't anticipate going down. Hey, let's do the housekeeping stuff here first. Don't forget, of course, to like and subscribe. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. You guys know the drill. If you're doing it on podcast, give us 5 stars. And hey, just if you're thinking about it and you got the podcast app open, get over there, open it up, give us 5 stars, put a cool review in there. Help us out. We would appreciate that, of course. And we want you to not listen to not just our show every day, but do check out Just Parlays with Chris King and Jim Williams over there, 1:30 p.m. Eastern time, each and every weekday, Monday through Friday, as they lay out their case for and And they say it's just parlays, but they do a pretty good examination of the games, whether it's parlays or not. So definitely check that out. Scott Senior dropping Rasta knowledge, dude. I'm wide. My knowledge is wide and shallow. I know a little bit about a lot of things. I'm not an expert on much, but I do know a little. So, anywho,
you also forgot to mention if you want to gamble with us.
Yeah, that's right.
We have a place for that.
We do. We have a deal set up with our pals over there at Caesar Sportsbook, and we definitely want you to check that out. They're brand new in that New York market. So if you're up there in the New York market, you want to check out Caesars. This is a great opportunity because they're going to match your first time deposit, your first time bet up to $1,001. Basically, make it a risk-free proposition. You just have to deposit, make your bet. The important part is when you download the app or go to the website, you have to put in the code Video Winners, all one word, and that will get you hooked up with the $1,001 free bet. Check that out. If you lose it, they make it good. If you win it, you win your bet. It's basically a risk-free proposition. Of course, make sure you check the link and that it is legal in your state. And of course, you must be 21 to play. Can you please handicap Auburn and Alabama tonight? Really like Auburn plus the couple points. Hey, before we do that, we're going to reward James here. You want to talk about the game that James was asking about, bud?
We showed up early, or we showed up on time. James was early. He asked me about the Belmont and Austin P game.
Uh-huh.
They play on Thursday, so I don't have a thought on that because they don't play until the 13th.
Okay, he's really early.
He's really excited for Belmont Austin.
I was rolling through the schedule here, and I'm like, where the fuck is that?
They play on Thursday.
All right. Well, in that case, and somebody said, please, how about taking a look at the Auburn Alabama game tonight, Scott? Auburn, very good basketball team. Alabama, perhaps fading a little bit lately. Where are we at with this Bama team that's lost 2 of their last 4?
Well, you have to remember one thing.
They've lost 2 of their last 4, failed to cover in 3 of their last 4.
Yeah, but you got to remember, Bama's now a basketball school because the football season's over. So the crowd should be into it. A lot of money coming in on Bama. It went from around 1.5 to 3. It's really a tough matchup between 2 rival schools. I'm not going to go against the home team there. It's one of those coin flip games where home court means so much in these rivalry games. It's either Bama or pass for me.
Okay. I'll ride the hot hand. I'll ride the hot hand. This is a Bama team that's been a little overvalued by the markets lately, and they have failed to cover the number in 6 of their last 7, Scott. So
it's not good.
No, it's not good at all. They struggled at Mizzou against a very average at best Missouri team. Yeah, I'll ride the hot hand here. I'll ride the Auburn Tigers, who have just 1 loss on the season. That opening, what was that? Triple overtime, double overtime to UConn?
Yes, that was the neutral site game that went to 2 overtimes.
Now they're 11-0 since then, 9-2 ATS.
They're a hell of a team. They're really good.
They've been decent on the road. They beat South Carolina by 15, covering that number by 6.5. And struggled a little bit with St. Louis. But, St. Louis, at the end of the day, pretty good team there in the Missouri Valley. So
I'm just going to back the line movement. I agree with you that Auburn's in better form, but that's also why I find the line movement on Bama by 1.5 points so fascinating. So I'm going to go with Bama, but I'm not going to have any money on the game.
Total there, as far as the number goes, 156. I got a hunch that's a little bit high. I think these are 2 teams that play pretty good defense, especially this Auburn team.
The issue is the pace, because you're going to have to combat a bunch of up-tempo nature from both teams. Okay. That's the concern.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'll take defense. I'll take defense over pace. That's
okay. Well, the real question you have for the under or for the over: does one of these teams get to 80?
Right.
That's really your question. If you think one of these teams gets to 80, you're probably going over. If you don't, then you're going under. That's how I'm looking at it.
Yep, pretty much. Said Bruce Pearl, very underrated coach. I agree.
He's a very good coach. Of course, he had some scandals with recruiting and whatever, but who hasn't in college sports? He's a very good coach, and you look at the fact that his team arguably should have went to the national championship game because they fouled Kyle Guy on that 3-pointer in the Final Four a couple years ago. So he should have arguably have had a championship game appearance against Texas Tech.
Yeah. That was a hell of a game. It really
Great
was.
game, but you had the missed travel into the foul in the corner, and Auburn, I don't want to say got robbed, but it was definitely, let's just say, some unfortunate officiating that got in their way.
Hey, good to see the Butcher 854. A great golf prop guy, Scott. Probably the best I've seen. Very solid. He's checking in for, I think, the first time. So it's like he walked into a bar and all his buddies are there. Only thing is to say Norm. Everybody just say Butcher. Yeah, good to have you, man. Thanks for stopping by. We do it every day, brother. So whenever you can pop in, that's very cool. Auburn actually
Auburn plays some white guys too. It's called diversification.
It's like watching Indiana play back in the day, man. What else you got for tonight, bud?
We'll get to it after we do some housekeeping.
Yeah, let's do our thing. Let's do our little thing here. Let's talk about the good news, the bad news, the winners, the whiners. Who was left with their phone instead of their money, and all they could do, Scott, was call the cops. All right, pull them over, boys. Let's start in the national championship game. If you had Georgia team total under 27.5, man, you were rocking and rolling. Had 13 points for the first 3 quarters, even 2 touchdowns with the extra points. Don't screw you. Had 26 points with less than a minute left. Alabama driving. What could go wrong? Because if they throw an interception, the fucker just kneels down. That's not what happened, was it, Scott?
No.
79 yards with Kirby Smart screaming for about the last 70 of them. Get down. You'd think he was at a James Brown concert. He was screaming, get down so much, but he didn't. He rolls into the end zone and poof, there goes your team total under 27.5. Oofta. Hope you had Georgia to hedge it because that, my friends, was a bad beat. Time to call the cops.
And looking at hockey, if you had the Kraken on the money line against the Avalanche, plus 300, by the way. They led 3-1 in the second period, and they lost 4-3. Now, I know hockey, you see a lot of blown leads, and this one wasn't any last-second shenanigans, but when you have plus 300 and your team's up 2 goals, that's a pretty tough beat.
Got to be feeling good. You got to be feeling good there. Never discount the Avalanche at home. They are playing really good hockey right now on their home ice. So at the, what is it now? The Ball Center?
It's the Ball Arena for the Nuggets. So I'm assuming it's the same.
It's the same place. Yeah.
Yeah.
It used to be the Pepsi Center.
Mm.
And finally, up in your neck of the woods, Scott, if you had the Knicks team total under 109.5 against the Spears, they led 109-94 with 18 seconds left. No shot clock. Knicks have the ball. You watched NBA games before. Big lead like that. All they do is just stand around. Everybody starts
dribbling at half court,
shaking hands and everything. What they do last night, Scott? They said, you know what? Somebody on this team has the team total over, so we're just gonna fucking jam it home instead of running out the clock. That finished with 111 points. Congratulations. I guarantee you, if you had the team total under right there, you thought you had a winner, and then it was snatched from you. Brutal. Call the cops.
Well, that's the common courtesy move, is that it's usually a tough call when there is a shot clock, because then you argue about, well, I can get a shot off or take a turnover. If there's no shot clock, teams are holding that up 15 or up double digits at least 98% of the time.
I was going to say, yeah, that's a real rarity. There almost has to be a personal animus or something that went wrong in that game or some kind of history for that to happen, because that's the ultimate disrespect, fuck you move. And I guarantee you they don't forget that if it becomes relevant. So the opposite side, the good news to go along with the bad news, these were the people that were sitting in the rocking chair. If you had the under in the game last night, that was not you. Should have been, but you know who you are. Let's find out who it was, Scott, who was sitting in the rocking chair.
So the first one in hockey, if you had the Bruins and the Capitals over 6 goals, you had 4 goals in the first period, and both teams decided, that's not enough. We can do better. and they scored 5 goals in the second period. Game landed 10.
Outstanding. Hey, remember the good old days, Scott, when all you had to do was show up and fade Mississippi Valley State and put yourself down for an automatic W? Well, it appears those days may be back, because if you had Texas Southern last night, minus 18.5 going up against the Mississippi Valley State Bulldogs. What are they?
Delta Devils.
God damn it. How can I
Come on,
forget
man.
that? The Delta Devils, of course. Texas Southern led by 29 points at halftime. You had a suspicion you might be in trouble at that point, and they ended up winning by 37 points. Congratulations, Mississippi Valley State. The Delta Devils, they're back, baby.
And looking at the last one, if you had a total in the NBA, if you had the Bucks and Hornets under 235.5, you had a 95 points in the first half. Second half was a little bit better, still not even close. Game landed 202.
There you go. All right, and guys, hey, don't forget to follow us over on the Twitter. I never really say much about this, but do follow me at Steamroller, and of course check out Reichel at Reichel Radio.
I dare you. You won't.
He tweets a lot. He tweets a lot, and he doesn't get a lot of engagement. So help him out. He's working on it. He's trying to grow that.
I'm
brand.
talking to myself out there.
Every once in a while, I'll give him a pity. I'll give him a pity like, but yeah, he puts out some good stuff. So check out Reichel. I put out snarky shit that'll piss off half of you. So
it's usually just me ranting about some coach or some team in live time. So if you want some opinions or whatever, I got you covered there.
David the Italian said I had 46 and I had under 46 and over 39. Oh, dude, you're in sweet shape for the middle there, right?
Pain.
Not so much. What happened? Yeah. Fourth quarter happened. That's what happened.
Well, what happened was the pick six. That's what killed him.
Yeah, that was a killer. A couple of dogs hit last night. Yep. T-Train says too fucking close. Yeah, it was. Roland has the over in the Bruins tonight, Scott.
No, I was saying he had that, I think.
Okay, last night. That's right. T-Train says, I don't tweet, twat, or anything at my age. Dude, I had to be dragged kicking and screaming into it. It's just, do I think it's stupid? At the end of the day, yes, I do.
Twitter, I feel like it's very useful for handicapping, though, because it's really where you're going to find the most up-to-date information possible.
It is. If you follow the teams, pool reporter. It's really helpful. It's helpful in baseball a lot for pitching decisions, football for injuries,
lineups, all that stuff. James, you should get one. Worst case scenario, just follow the main insiders. Follow the people giving you injury updates and stuff like that, because the last thing you want for gambling is when you think a player's playing and it was announced 10 minutes before the game he's not, and you need those up-to-date information, or that up-to-date information.
I will tell you this. If you're one of those people that thinks everybody in America should have a voice, get on Twitter and you'll go, oh, no, I was wrong. No.
I don't try to engage in any arguments on Twitter because you lose brain cells doing that. God. But I do think somebody tried to argue with me on Twitter yesterday, or made a comment that Kirby Smart clearly just wanted to go up 8 points with that extra point. And I'm like, you're clearly missing everything I'm saying. Like, you just don't get where I'm coming from.
No,
that's a separate story.
It is. It's one of the hardest analytic things to I mean, but you have to boil it down into simple terms. Like, you can win the game with one play. You can literally put the game away. If you have confidence in your offensive unit, if you have confidence in that one play that you've got to get 2 yards, then you run it. You do it. And to have it half the distance, they run from the 3.
I believe it's from the 3 in college. But of course you had roughing the passer.
Right.
So you had it half a distance. You have to go for 2 in that situation.
Yeah, I would think the way they were running the ball, you just fucking take your chances. Of course, they tried to do it earlier and they ran a sweep and got gashed. That's exactly why I don't have social media, because everybody is a tough guy behind the keyboard. That's certainly true. But you get a lot of that shit.
Once again, that's my point. You don't really have to tweet anything if you don't want to, but I do recommend you at least getting one solely to follow people that have up-to-date information for gambling.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. You can. It's a tool like anything else, and like anything else, like you can use a hammer to build a house, or you can build a hammer just to beat the shit out of your hand and break all your bones. So you can use Twitter for whatever you want. If you want to go down the political rabbit hole, the sports controversy rabbit hole, fucking you can argue about anything on Twitter. Any subject you're passionate about. I don't give a shit if it's a hobby, if it's needle pointing. There's somebody that's going to tell you you're a dumb fuck for needle pointing the way you do. So you definitely have to watch going down the Twitter rabbit hole. It helps, Scott, having a Twitter in a professional capacity, because a lot of things I would snap tweet under normal circumstances, I don't do on Twitter. I'm very vanilla on Twitter.
I don't think I've ever cursed anybody out on Twitter. I think people have cursed me out before, but that comes with the territory.
I got to tell you, I had my Facebook hacked back in June, and they did a really good job. Like, I couldn't recover it without going through all the Facebook shit, and I just fuck it. And they've never used it for anything. It's still there. So if you ever find me on Facebook, I'm there. It's my account. I just don't ever use it. You'll see like no posts since June, and I don't miss it. I don't miss it at all. Or your curling sweep. That's your curling sweep sucks. Oh, no shit, dude. Oh man, wait till the Winter Olympics. Wait till I fucking start doing curling videos. I am a junkie when it comes to betting on curling. I'm going to tell you that right now. You guys have never been around me because I haven't been doing this for 4 years. So I started right after the Winter Olympics were over last time. In fact, a couple of the articles that I used to get the job were on curling and how to bet it. So fucking strap in. You think I'm kidding? I am 100% serious about betting on curling. I went to the qualifying 4 years ago. I tried to get tickets this year because they gave me press passes, and I didn't.
Are they even having attendance there?
What's that? Yeah,
are they actually having people at it this year, or no, because of COVID?
It's already over. I
was saying, did they have people at it this year?
Yeah. I talked to my buddy that's in the media in Omaha, and he said that they did, but they didn't make a big deal of it. So maybe they limited attendance as far as the media goes. I don't know.
You didn't pronounce that, by the way. You didn't pronounce that correctly. It's Omaha.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah. Crash Landon, great show yesterday. Back to cash today. Excellent, Crash. We had a good time. We had a blast. I honestly, I didn't think we'd have that much fun. I mean, it's always cool to talk to people, but I thought it would get a little tedious after a while. But you and we should have known better. You and I can yak about fucking sports pretty much nonstop. So we had a blast interacting with.
I think you talked about Jay Leno for about 5-10 minutes. That gave us some other pop culture topics.
Somebody asked me famous people that I'd fucking
know. No, I'm saying in general. So I'm saying we have a lot of other stuff to talk about.
That's right. We're not just one dimensional. We got other dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
Curling.
I see JC asking me a tennis question, which is your favorite. Is it a bad sign when a female tennis player you bet on is crying on the court in the third set? It's not good. It's not good. It's probably better off than Raducanu, who won the U.S. Open and then proceeded to lose 6-0, 6-1 yesterday. That's not exactly a good look either. So at least you made it to a third set. But yeah, I don't think Sabalenka's keeping it together too well.
Scott, you want to talk about Baylor, Texas Tech tonight?
I think we should.
Baylor, best team in the country. They're in action. We don't have Bet the Farm on that. So couple good games. You got KU, Iowa State, and that Baylor, Texas Tech. What do we got with this Texas Tech team, buddy? New coach, sort of a new scheme, but they still play very good defense. Baylor, best team in the country, is 12 too much. They haven't had fantastic success covering gigantic numbers. Last time they were 12-point favorite was against Oklahoma at home, and they win that one by 10. They don't get done. I took them there, by the way. They don't cover against Iowa State. What do we got tonight?
For me, the way I'm looking at it is that Texas Tech is a good but offensively challenged team. They just can't score. And if you watch them play against competent defenses, you had the Madison Square Garden fiasco against Tennessee. They won the game. That was one of the worst offensive games I've ever seen. They're also battling some injuries, but this team, when push comes to shove, cannot score. And in the half court,
can we talk about them putting up 75 on KU? Pretty damn good defense there, right?
Oh, that's at home, but you're looking at but look at some of the other games they played. They're offensively against good defenses, they are not great. And Baylor at home, of course, in Waco is very, very good. Offensively, they're great. Defensively, they're great. There's a reason why Baylor is favored by this many points against a ranked opponents, because Texas Tech, with the injuries and with the lack of firepower, I have a hard time believing that they're going to keep this game close. We saw Baylor hold Villanova to 40-something points. So they have the capability of absolutely just putting the clamps down on Tech in this game. It's either Baylor or pass for me. But
Well,
I like the under as my favorite play in the game.
I don't hate the Texas Tech play here. My problem is you've got too many questions as far as the injuries go.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking at the under.
You've got Shannon and McCullough that are both questionable with undisclosed injury problems. That I don't care for that. I got to be honest with you. So yeah, I would think the under is the play. I'm probably not going to fall into the trap of laying 12 with Baylor again. Kevin talking about the other game that I mentioned, and that is at Allen Fieldhouse with KU going up against Iowa State. Iowa State getting what are they getting 13 in this game?
I saw them lose to Oklahoma over the weekend. They ended up losing just because Oklahoma pretty much made every shot in the final 5 minutes. I believe Oklahoma made a shot on about 9 straight possessions. I like this Iowa State team. I think Kansas is clearly better, but 13 does seem a bit rich to me. I like the points.
Yeah, it's going to be Iowa State or pass for me. I'm looking what
I see Kansas winning, but I see an 8-point win, something like that. 13's a bit rich for me because at that point of 13, you're just avoiding the late game fouling because nobody's fouling down 12.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at Iowa State. I think you'll see this game hanging around single digits late, and 13 seems a bit, I'd say, too many points that you actually end up avoiding the fouling fiasco down the stretch. So I'm gonna go with the Cyclones there.
What's this line if they're competitive against Oklahoma, maybe don't win the game but beat the number there at 6?
It's probably closer to 10.
Yeah,
9.5.
I think that's right. The dogs have been barking. Yeah, both literally and figuratively. Stick with the captain and Ginger. Scott, you like Captain Morgan?
I don't mind it.
I can't do this fight. I
like every alcohol that's free.
Nice.
That's how I live my life.
Auburn Bama game. Jack, we hit that up a little bit.
We disagreed. I'm going with Bama tracking the line movement, or I'll back the line movement, and you're going with Auburn.
Yeah, I think it's just a few too many points there for me. That's your dog bite. Browns back, are you doing okay, bud? I want to know what you guys want to do with Baker up there. Scott, if you're a Browns fan,
they said they're bringing him back already.
Are you happy about that?
I don't root for the Browns, so
if you're a Browns fan, are you happy about that? Put on your Browns fan hat.
If you're a Browns fan, no.
Put on your dog mask for a second.
A lot of it's going to depend on what the contract actually is, because if you're going to give Baker $20+ million, what's the length of the contract involved? 3-4 years?
I think it's just the 5th year of his deal, right?
Is it? I thought they were getting together to negotiate a new contract.
I don't think so. No, I thought they were just bringing him back on the 5th year. By the way, thanks, Brad. I do feel better, man. It's still there, but every day's better. So, other than blasting out my voice last night, so I appreciate it. Jimmy GQ. There's a great nickname, by the way. I've never heard that before. I like it though. Jimmy GQ.
I think Baker's okay. I mean, he was injured the entire season, so I'm not going to automatically roast him and say this is who he is. I think he's a little bit better than this, but we've seen him when he's healthy too. He's okay. Mm-hmm. If you want to power rank it, what is he, like somewhere between 15 and 20?
Yeah.
In terms of quarterbacks in the league?
Yeah, that's about right.
Are you, like, as a franchise that's trying to compete for a title, are you content with having a quarterback somewhere in the 15 to 20 range? Probably not.
I would think you would want more. Is Case Keenum, because Brownsbacker says Case looks pretty good, and I don't disagree with that. He looked good when he played. Is he an upgrade? Is that the answer?
It's not a matter of being an upgrade. The point is, if you move on from Baker, you don't have Case Keenum. You have Case Keenum and salary cap. That's the difference. The difference is if you can take the money you would have paid Baker and maybe signed another defensive back, or you sign another wide receiver. So the point is that it's a matter of how you allocate the salaries. If you overpay Baker, then you're stuck with mediocre quarterback play, and you might be a little bit hamstrung with the rest of the roster. I think that's the point.
I'm going to look that up. Somebody asked me how long I've been handicapping games. Literally 40 years. How long have I been doing it for real? 10 years, 10, 12 years as far as being more than 50% of my income. Is that kind of the line you would draw, Scott, where it becomes like more of a habit, more or less than a hobby? Because I was always bet college football, bet NFL, had some really good seasons and stuff like that. But as far as really getting into it and counting on it for good part of my income, yeah, about a little more than 10 years.
I started in 11th grade, and then I took it seriously once I lost a lot of money. So I'd say my freshman year of college, I probably started taking it seriously.
Yeah, there you go. I think the Roos tanked it at home last night versus Omaha, laying 9 points. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's just force of habit that I'm just not going to trust the fucking Roos to cover. I might play some unders with them. They are playing really good defense, which is kind of unRoo-like, but very Roo-like as they're having trouble scoring the basketball. So even against Uno, and if you can't cover against Uno, buddy, and if you can't cover against Denver, fuck, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe North Dakota is more your style. I have a full-time job, trying to do this full-time as well. That's hard. It's hard, man, because I literally spend over 10 hours every day, 10 hours a day doing this, with the exception of Sundays where I maybe spend 6. So and a lot of it's not grinding. I'm working in the fucking factory. I'm not saying woe is me. I love the shit out of it, but it takes time to do it right. Like, I watch a lot of film, man. I watch every NFL game every week. Make sure I see those. I watch as many college football games live as I can, and watch highlights and things like that. So, yeah. Carrot says I started last week. Carrot's an interesting guy. If you don't know that, if you don't know Carrot from the comment section of my videos, first of all, you should, because he is a volume player, and he's a guy that puts out like all of his plays, all of his premium shit. He puts it out in the comment section. So, and it's high volume. If you like playing a lot of action, you should definitely check out Carrot. You look happy though. So those aren't working 10 hours. No, I totally agree, dude. I would, and I've told people this before. I would rather work 10 or 12 hours a day doing what I do, 6 days a week, than work 40 hours a week in the casino doing what I did there. And
the way that I would equate it is that if you're going to be considering a full-time career in sports betting, you got to treat it like it's a full-time career in poker, where you're going to have some really good runs, you're going to have some really bad runs. The point is, can you weather the storm during the bad months to really reap the benefits of the good months? That's how I would describe it. So that helps.
I need to get overtime pay. Talk to the Caesars Union. Well, hopefully the way it should work out is the more time you spend doing it, the better off it pays. Having said that, I've been very, very open that I had a terrible NFL season. My first one literally in 2 decades. And it was a really bad time to do it. And just for whatever reason. And when the other weird thing about that, Scott, the anomaly to that is on our videos where I took 1 game a week, I was very good. We were at what, 62% or whatever. So Crash Landon's almost 3 years in, taking it serious for the last year. Excited for the next 20 years. Godspeed, buddy. It can be beat. It can be beat, but it takes work, man, because I don't know what the number of profitable handicappers are. It is very, very small. It is 5% or less, I would say, in long term, year to year. Would you agree with that, Scott?
Yeah, it sounds about right. Of course, the numbers are going to vary depending on which person you talk to, so it's just an average. But you're going to see a lot of people who think they can do it full time, and then they realize as soon as they get into a rough patch, they can't do it full time. So that's kind of why we try to pride ourselves in giving good information, because a lot of the bets that you're going to end up winning or losing are really decided before the game. And I make jokes about it, how if you beat closing line value, you automatically win, and how you don't have to actually bother. Like, I make jokes about it. But in reality, long term, if you end up getting good information and you get good numbers, you have a significant advantage above most average handicappers who really don't know what they're doing.
And I'm going to let you know. I'm going to let you know a little secret. And I mean, I say that tongue in cheek because I know you guys know this. But doing what we do, like the day of, it really you're sort of approaching it with almost one hand tied behind your back, because the real value on these games is when the numbers come out, be it basketball, be it football, the value. And I know you guys are sharp because I've interacted with you. I know you know what you're doing. You guys know this, but a lot of new handicappers don't realize it. There's 2 times to make the bet. There's what you want to do is you want to obviously be in front of the line move and beat the steam, or you want to get a last minute line where you've got all the information and you can take it all into account and you can catch a last minute move. But trying to do it, the day of, you've lost some value. There are some bets you would make that if you'd have made them earlier in the week, they'd have been winners.
Well, that was really the kind of the story of college basketball last season, because if people remember, I was uploading videos or making videos at like 3 a.m. And then we had the IT person who was uploading it at like 8 a.m. Or the point is, I was doing videos overnight. And I did really well in college basketball last year. I hit about 63%. But if you kept track of the line moves I got in most of those games, I tended to beat a bunch of line moves all the time, and I won the majority of the time. You're not going to win every time, but if you can get yourself some extra value on points in matchups, you will notice your percentage of victory to be a lot higher.
Yep, absolutely true. JC Stone says manipulating the lines is key. Yep, I get that. T-Train, compliments to you, buddy. And I've said that before. It was one of the reasons that I agreed to work with you. Is I see a real passion. In my opinion, probably too much passion. I think you need to get out there and fucking do more shit. But it's hard to give you a hard time when we had a pandemic for 2 years, and the shit that you normally would do. Number one, ain't nobody doing it. Number two, a lot of it ain't happening. So we would have definitely been in Vegas by now. We've talked in the past, and I would like to get you guys' opinion on this. Scott and I have talked about putting together a series of gambling university type stuff, tips and things that we've learned over the years and things like that.
Some of it would be basic. I'm sure some of it would be repetitive to you, but of course we would get more advanced as we went through it.
A lot of people have done it. There's a lot of videos out there. I don't know if there's still a market for it. I don't know if anybody would watch it. So, if you guys would be into that, you should let us know. Somebody's saying, well, we don't run from our picks. No, there's too much bullshit. And if you're part of gambling Twitter, you know how much bullshit is out there about the guys putting out picks and shit. I don't ever fucking put out picks on Twitter. I don't even fuck with it. You guys know where I'm at. And I used to do, when I would do my premium videos, I would usually do like a recap. I stopped doing that just because if you're a premium subscriber, you probably don't want to relive why we lost. Nobody gives a fuck why you lost. So I spend my bitching, and then I would bitch on the regular video too. So I cut down my bitching to just one video about, if a play went wrong, about why it went wrong. So
yeah, Roland, to answer your question, it would be more of I'd say a crash course where we'd go through basic stuff first, but I wouldn't say it would be training. Of course, we would give examples and tell you some of the thought process that we use. But I do think, even though I'm sure a lot of you who have been listening to the show for a while know the basics and know some of the actual angles we take, I think you would agree that you could always learn more. So if we can just get the information out there, you might learn something, even if you know most of it.
C-Dub has a great point. People don't listen to gambling advice, or there would be a bunch of people doing better. Yeah. Brad wants to know if you can make six figures gambling. Yes. I didn't get there last year, and which really sucked because I got about 20% of that on the election, and I didn't really need that much of a bump to get to that. It's the first time I haven't hit that in a while, so it is possible. But you either have to start with a hell of a bankroll, or you have to, like, my bankroll has literally been built. I opened up an Intertops account in 1996.
Well, you also had some poker balance as well. You've had money saved up for a while.
Correct. Yeah. Pandemic kind of dinged me a little bit there when we weren't working. I had to actually dip into some of my gambling accounts, which is and then horrible NFL season. So so would you be looking at trends, analytics, etc. on your decision? I would probably take cues from what everybody wanted. If you guys want us to go down the deep analytical that rabbit hole with the algorithms and all that stuff, we can do it. It's a dark journey. It gets hairy. If you guys are interested in that level, we can absolutely put together that kind of stuff.
I think we were expecting initially to go more just basic stuff.
Stop playing parlays.
We're not going to explain to you, what a bet is or what a point spread is. Like, we're aware of, our audience here, but I do think going through stuff like tracking line movements or tracking injuries or providing some sources would definitely help out. Something like that.
Carrot, I want to ask you, because I know you always say this, and I know you always say kind of joking. You say research and analysis is overrated. All right, I assume you have success. You've seen you put up picks for a couple of years now that do pretty well. What do you use? What's the key for you? I know the key for you is using other guys, but I mean, if you're going to be a profitable handicapper and not use research, sometimes I over research. Yeah, I get that. They call it paralysis by analysis. I definitely understand that. If you're not willing to put the work in, that's not for you. Yeah, too many people depend on online touts. Yeah, I guess for lack of a better term, I'm an online tout, but I would agree with that. You absolutely, and I've from day one encouraged people, and I'm not going to go back into this again, but just use this as a tool, not the end.
Mm-hmm.
This is the beginning of your journey. Kick off.
I don't think I count as a tout because all my picks are free, but you get the point.
Fair enough. As a statistician, I'd appreciate you starting fairly basic. Yeah. Okay, good. All right,
cool.
We can do that. All right, buddy. Been killing it with 4-team teasers, plus 13 with your NBA picks. There you go. Fair enough. All right, let's do it, man. That was a quick 45 minutes. Okay. Well, there wasn't a big card tonight either. We knew we were going to be off the rails here a little bit because just kind of a lack of great games tonight. By the way, I made this, so I want to put it up. I always forget to do this. If you don't like it, subscribe. Staley's gonna take it. No, another. Oh no, I had the. Wow, man, I swear I put that up there. No, never mind. Scratch that. I had a funny one, and I thought I had it up. So
anyway. And it wasn't a bad one. The Staley one's not a bad one.
No, that was from yesterday, though. Okay, let's do it, buddy. We've been a little bit chilly from the time we started bragging about how well we were doing. We've had to give a couple farms back. Had to give up a couple of those farms for taxes, but we're ready to put a fucking stop to that. When IUPUI couldn't get there yesterday, it's gonna take a little bit of thinking on this one. So we've gone into a game that some of you were asking about. Let's get to it, guys. Put on the overalls, put on that straw hat, climb aboard your John Deere, and let's get ready to bet the farm. All right, Scott, I know we had a couple other features that we didn't get to yesterday, and it's almost always 100% my fault because I get yakking and talking to people. So my apology. We had like a gambling hero and stuff, and we didn't get to it. So
it's fine. Truth is, they weren't really that great. There really wasn't much on the card yesterday.
All right, so since I've already put it up there, tell us what we got, Scott.
So we're going to be going with college basketball. We like Almost Heaven, West Virginia at -2.5 from our pals at Caesars. Couple reasons why we like that play. First of all, West Virginia, we know in Morgantown, very tough to play. They are undefeated at home, 9-0, so I do think they should fare well here. Oklahoma State, though, really not that experienced on the road. They've played one true road game this season, beat Oral Roberts by 1 point as 9.5-point favorites. By the way, that was back in November. So they haven't been in an actual road game in at least a month and a half, give or take. Oklahoma State also 1-6 ATS in its last 7 games. And I do think that West Virginia should fare pretty well at home with the home crowd behind it.
Very good. All right. You want to do the offensive efficiency stats?
Yes, but I was looking at the sheet and I don't see them here.
Oh.
So cool.
West Virginia ranks 89th in offensive efficiency according to KenPom. Oklahoma State ranks 128th. What I do? Cut instead of
I think you accidentally cut it after you copied it over.
Outstanding. So that's going to do it for our Bet the Farm play. Moving into the Big 12, guys. West Virginia minus the 2.5. We're trying to turn it around. 2 games lost in a row. That's too many. So let's rock and roll here, guys. That's going to do it for Bet the Farm. That's going to do it for our show today. As always, thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to check out everybody here at the Whiners Sports Betting Network. And of course, for myself and for Scott Wright's show, we do appreciate each and every one of you. So let's hit some bets tonight. Let's make some money. Come back and see us as we do this every day, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. Scott and I do our best to help you to head back to the window. Take care, everybody. We'll see you then.